Okay, I think we are live on Twitch now.
Oh, it looks like maybe.
Hello, Tim, and welcome to the show, the Pokercast, Danish poker podcast thing here.
Thank you.
We are very happy that you're joining us, cause in my opinion, you're kind of the godfather of poker vlogging. You were way ahead of your time and before all the Nimi Owen guys, and you've done it for many years now.
Yeah, they took it to a different direction, super into poker only. But yeah, I guess so.
Mm. Yeah, because I was thinking maybe we could start with you telling us your story, uh, how you ended up in Vegas and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess I've been playing poker for a while, and I was living in Florida. I had already lived in Vegas though for about a year back in 2008. Before that, pardon me, actually late 2007, 2008, and the first couple of months of 2009. But I used to deal poker games
Yeah.
back in South Carolina, where where it wasn't legal.
Mm.
And we had a couple of really good years where the games. This is during the poker boom, right? So really, 2005 is when we started, when it really started to blow up there. And I was dealing games. I could have been dealing 7 nights a week, but I was dealing four and playing three. And then the robberies and the police raids began.
Mm.
So everything started to crumble, and I moved to Vegas for like a year and a half. But then I went back east for a while, and I was living in Florida, playing poker there in Jacksonville, Florida. And then I started fiddling around with YouTube.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
that is that is that because the laws about gambling and poker in general is different in from state to state in the U.S.?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every state. So gambling is legal on a federal level. It's left up to the states to decide,
Yeah.
which I'm a little confused about because when there's illegal gambling going on in a state, the federal authorities get involved, which I don't really understand how that part of it works.
Uh
But
huh.
like for instance, sports gambling was legal for a long time in Nevada, but if there was a big sports illegal sports operation in some other state, it seems like the federal authorities would get involved, but maybe it was because some other, I don't know, who
Mm-hmm.
knows. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
every state is different,
Yeah.
and some states have casinos and some don't, and many more have casinos now because they're all hungry for the tax money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I when I was in Florida, it was I moved to Florida shortly after they changed the rules there again. The rules in Florida for poker used to be 25 cent, 50 cent live poker games with a $10 cap on the pot,
Mm-hmm.
meaning the pot couldn't be more than $10,
Okay.
which is silly.
Yeah.
And then they changed it after the poker boom, but they tried to, they're always trying to restrict everything. So they tried to restrict it to $100 buy-in cap.
Uh huh.
So you could play no limit, and people were playing 5-10 no limit with $100 buy-in, which is absurd, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there came a time when everyone believed that the rules were going to change again, and it was all the buzz. I remember everybody was talking about it everywhere. When Florida opens up, it's going to be crazy, and that's pretty much what happened. And I found myself down there playing 2-5 no limit against people who were used to buying in for 100,
Yeah.
and now they're winning pots that are much bigger. I mean, it was just bananas. It
Yeah.
was crazy. Yeah. So I spent a couple of years doing that, and then when I was trying to figure out what I want to do on YouTube, because I was interested in YouTube more than anything, but I just didn't really know what to do,
Yeah.
and I just started making these silly little vlogs, and I started talking about the poker, which most of those you can't even see anymore. I should probably put them back up. So, but yeah, I've done it before, and nobody ever goes back and watch
Uh
them.
huh.
But but I just decided that if I was going to talk about poker and if I was going to play poker, if I had Las Vegas as my backdrop,
Yeah,
more people would be interested in watching.
yeah, yeah. I
So
understand.
that's really why so in the YouTube videos, it is apparent that I moved to Vegas with $2,000 to my name to play poker for a living.
Yeah,
But if you zoom out just a bit and realize the bigger story is I wanted to come here and play poker and make YouTube videos about coming here to play poker.
yeah,
So uh, when I first got here, I mean, I was trying to edit as many videos a week as I could. I wasn't doing them daily yet, but I would say 3 per week. And I was on fire when I first got here. I was doing as many videos as I could,
mm.
but it's a lot of work. So every video I put up is time taken away from actually playing poker. So, and then that was just it. I mean, I just document the story as it went along.
Yeah. And what's really appealing to a guy like me is was and still is your honesty about everything. Uh,
Yeah, and I don't even know why I decided to be so honest, but I think it's just my nature. I am generally a 99.999% honest person.
mhm.
But you're right. It's crazy because I truly, I even if I truly believe that hardly anyone is honest, and I also believe that even if someone is not outright lying, I think there's so much stuff that's hidden that
Yeah,
is
yeah,
omitted from the story that it it's misleading, right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. And
I
especially
wouldn't call it yeah.
especially in the gambling world, in the poker world. I mean,
It lends itself perfectly to it's just like it goes back to like the fisherman's tale, how big the fish was and all
yeah,
that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
and everyone has ego, and now with social media and YouTube and everyone being a star in their own mind, it's even more important to people. It seems to me that everyone think that they are perfect.
yeah,
So
yeah. Well, I've been watching your channel for a few years now, and I watch a lot of the old because I was thinking, how did a guy like you end up in Vegas? So I had to watch all the old episodes, right? And
yeah,
as I said, the honesty and the you back then you also knew that okay, I have like 10 buy-ins into the lowest live games in Vegas. That there's a there's a chance it won't work, and there's a chance I have to do something, um, and you kind of had a rough start, didn't you?
yeah, yeah, pretty much. I mean, I tried to plan as much as I could. I was a waiter, in a restaurant. I had been doing that for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
There were periods of time where I didn't because, I had a bankroll or there was when I left Vegas the first time and I went back to South Carolina, they had just put poker into the casino in Cherokee, North Carolina, but they were the electronic tables. If you've
Ah,
ever seen those, the Poker Pro, Pro Tech, I think was the company, but Poker Pro was the name of it. It was like a big wide screen in the middle of the table, and everyone had their own screen, so it was electronic
yeah,
cards.
yeah,
Yeah, and those games were bananas. I missed the first like 6 months or so of that, which was bad for me, but it was still just crazy. So I was playing almost no hours, but I was staying in Cherokee, North Carolina at like probably 4 to 6 nights a week, every week.
uh huh,
Free rooms were very easy. All you had to do was be there and play something, and you got free rooms.
uh,
And so I was staying there, and over the course of 5 months, I averaged $500 a week playing like 15 to 20 hours a week of poker.
okay,
But my hourly was just crazy, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, and
uh, I forgot the point.
no,
I sidetracked myself.
just when you came to Vegas, you said you had some kind of stuff planned out
Oh
Uh,
yeah. So I was talking about that was when I wasn't a waiter for a while,
mm,
right? When all of that stuff was going, and I dealt poker underground for a while. But in Jacksonville, I was a waiter, and once I made the decision, in fact, those videos are still there. Once I made the decision to move to Vegas, I basically worked every minute that I could, and I also scraped together, every dollar that I could at work by doing the stupid work that servers don't want to do.
yeah.
I would do their work for $5 or $10 or whatever. Like, it's called side work. If anybody who's ever worked in a restaurant knows what side work is,
Yeah.
or rolling silverware, or cleaning the section at the end of the night, sweeping the floors for your own tables
Uh-huh.
and stuff. So I got all the money that I could together. And I also had, I don't even know how I got free rooms at Four Queens or at El Cortez. Some of these places, I got free rooms or super cheap rooms.
Yeah.
So I had, yeah, for the first like 4 weeks, maybe five, I had free rooms at it was called the Quad at the time,
Mm.
the Link now,
Yeah.
and so I had free rooms set up all around the Strip and downtown, where I had a place to stay pretty much the entire first month,
Mm-hmm.
either for free or for super cheap,
Mm-hmm.
except for EDC weekend, which
Yeah.
I still don't even remember what I did. What did I do for EDC weekend?
What does that mean? EDC weekend.
EDC is Electric Daisy Carnival. It's an electronic music festival.
Ah, okay, yeah. It's a
Yeah, and when
very busy weekend. So,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
extremely busy.
yeah,
There are
yeah.
0 rooms left in town.
Uh-huh.
I think I slept in my car, didn't I? I think I slept in my car. One night, I tried to sleep at the Venetian parking garage. It was hot as hell. So I moved to the Rio parking garage up on top,
Mm-hmm.
where there was at least it was open, or whatever. But yeah, so that's what I did. I planned as well as I could. And, I got here. I was so excited to be here. It's hard to really focus. But yeah, it didn't take long to go broke.
Well, so 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 you had to get a job as a waiter first, at first,
Yeah.
but
After a couple months here, or 3 months or something like that, I ended up getting a job as a waiter at Maggiano's on the Strip, which is across from the Wynn in the Fashion Show Mall.
okay, and but if I remember correctly, Tim, you also got a permanent place to stay, and it's not like
Yeah,
not like your dream place or anything, not like the later Casa del Trooper, right? But
right.
but it
It was
was.
it was a crappy little place. It was the type of place where there were some people there who were older or maybe disabled, and were on a fixed income because it was so cheap, and they
Mm,
had been living there for a really long time, and their rent wasn't being increased or something.
mhm.
I don't know. And then there were some crazy people there, and it was not a good place to live.
No,
But
no.
I dealt with it, I guess.
Yeah, and things kind of turned around somehow. I mean, you got.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah, tell me what happened. Did you get more success at the poker tables or what?
I can't even really, all of this whole story is my own story. Here's the weird thing: every day I started making daily videos
Yeah.
while I was still living in that place. It's called Desert Manor. But before that, I was only making, maybe 3 videos a week. But it's so weird because, especially once I started doing daily videos, it's like I live every day twice.
Mm,
So I live Wednesday, and then late
relived it.
Wednesday night or early Thursday, yeah, I relive it by making a video. And for some reason, there are so many details that I can't remember. I don't even remember why I quit working at Maggiano's. I think that I had just, for whatever reason, I had uh, a few dollars set back now in a bankroll again. I was playing poker and waiting tables, and maybe I had enough money, but I don't remember what happened. All I remember is I quit Maggiano's to try to not work a job anymore again,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I could focus on poker and YouTube.
yeah.
And then, yeah,
Yeah, I think I remember a few videos where you talked about your hourly and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, if I can make the same kind of money playing poker, why should I work at a minimum wage? something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
guess that should have gone into it. I don't specifically remember. Sometimes I go back and watch my own videos. Usually it's Austria. I like to go back and watch those, but
Yeah.
sometimes I go back just to try to remember things. But I ended up quitting the Maggianos, and I was again just me, poker, YouTube, and then things got slim again, and that's when I ended up getting the job dealing at the Link Poker
Mhm.
Room
Mhm.
when they reopened. And actually, YouTube is the reason I got that job. The only reason I got that job. I
Really?
didn't even know. Yeah, I didn't know they were opening the poker room.
Okay.
And someone who was a dealer, who's been a dealer here for a long time, someone who was an active consumer of poker content. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Um, she was a dealer at the Mirage, and I don't know how or why, but once in a while she would let me know if something was coming up. And she let me know that her friend was going to be the manager of the Link Poker Room and told me to contact her. Well, I contacted her, but I was late.
Mhm.
Everyone did auditions on this particular Thursday, and I contacted her like after the auditions were already done. I don't know if you're familiar with auditioning for a poker dealer job in Vegas. In order to get a job as a poker dealer,
I'm
all you
not.
have to do is all you have to do is pass an audition.
Uh-huh.
It's literally like auditioning for a movie. You just go, you sit down, there's some people around the table, and you just, pitch the cards, deal a couple of hands, and that's it. They look at how you, they can tell if you have experience,
Yeah.
if you
Do you
know
have
how to properly. Oh yeah. What's
do
that?
you need to have the experience or the skills already, like shuffling the cards in the correct way and stuff like that?
Correct. You
Yeah.
need the skills. They don't care how you got it. You
Mm.
can either go to school, you could have dealt before, you could have experience, no experience, whatever.
Mhm.
But basically what happened is because of the YouTube videos, the dealer who told me about it knew about me. And then in the interview that went along with the audition, I basically was like, I have several thousand followers on YouTube,
Mm.
and I guarantee you that there will be a lot of people coming to the poker room to say hi, to
Yeah.
play there, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was hoping it would be that way,
Yeah.
and it turned out to be that way. They
Uh-huh.
really got their money's worth from me because I auditioned and I basically riffled the cards, dealt out one hand, and that was it.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to do anything else. I had
Uh-huh.
already explained that I dealt before.
Yeah.
So, and I actually had dealt in Vegas once before at the Golden Nugget, the very first year. It was 2008, their very first year of the Grand Poker Series. I was a temporary dealer there.
Ah, okay.
So I did have a little bit of experience in the casino, but other than that, I had 2 years of just, dealing underground.
Mm.
But basically, once I started working at the league, the YouTube also helped me as a dealer because I had very generous players come in and tip me way more than they should have on pots and
Ah,
things
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And
Of
so it was
course.
very helpful, you know.
I was thinking
But
about that, but before I ask my next question, Tim, I will
yeah,
just
yeah.
say thank you to the people watching the stream right now. So,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm having a half an eye on the what's it called, the chats thing. So if any of you guys have any questions or anything, just put them in the chat, and I'll sum it up later or during the conversation. Yeah, I understand about the tipping, and I would also like to know because my friend Casper, which I'm doing the podcast, we're doing the podcast together. We went to
Okay.
a meetup game in London pre-corona
Oh, yeah,
with
yeah.
Nima and Owen, and they we interviewed them over there, and they told us that oh my god, they have there's a lot of guys that just kind of just giving them money at the poker table because they want to be on the vlog or something. Uh, how have you ever experienced stuff like that?
You know what? My experience with that, well, okay, so I have a meetup game
Yeah,
every Thursday,
we
right?
have to talk more about the Westgate game, but let's do that later. But
Well, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I guess what I would have to say is that the only positive side of what you're referring to with what they're saying, I didn't even realize that, but if you think about it, I guess that would be true. Um, at the Westgate, I feel like sometimes people don't mind losing to me.
Uh-huh.
The other side of that is that I feel bad winning on Thursday, which is something in my nature that I wish I could turn off.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult because I feel like all the people who watch my videos are very valuable to me personally, you know. And I do make money from YouTube, and because of the whole thing, so I sometimes feel bad when I win, but I know I shouldn't. That's all beside the point. But as
Yeah.
far as like on the strip, my experience with that has been very strange because sometimes I can just tell that someone knows me from my videos.
Yeah.
And the one of the best examples of this was I was at Planet Hollywood one night playing in a 1-2 game, and a guy moved from a 2-5 game to my table,
Mm-hmm.
which was the first giveaway to my head. I was like, why is he doing that? Because I'm always just trying. I don't try. I'm just aware. I'm aware of the room. I'm aware of my surroundings, what's going on. I'm just one of those people, right?
Mm.
So when I noticed that this guy moved to my table from a 2-5 game, I'm like, something weird's going on right off the bat. Then we get involved in a hand like a half hour later, and on the river, he bet $100, but he did it with 4 greens.
Mm-hmm.
And just something about the way he did it, inside my head, I was screaming, this dude knows who you are. He wants to bluff you right now because it will be fun for him.
Yeah.
You should call,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a spot where most people would say I shouldn't call. I folded. I was already on a transfer list. I moved to another table, and as soon as I put my chips down on the table, I turned around, and the guy is right behind me, walking over to me, and I was like, oh, can I swear? Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, I fucking knew it. You bluffed me, didn't you? And he said, yeah, I had blah blah blah, and I was like, I knew it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So the strange thing for me is when, because I know it happens all the time, and I don't know every time it happens. It has to happen all the time. There are people at my table who know me from the videos,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know them, and I don't know that they know me, and there's a different level of thinking going on.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, a lot of times, I sabotage myself as a result. But yeah, I don't really find people out and about dumping money to me because
No.
they want it to be in the vlog. I have people wanting to push me around because of what they may think about my game in this.
Yeah. Yeah. But one
You
of the
know?
one of the differences between your vlog and a lot of other poker vlogs is also like we have. If you want to see a poker vlog where they are talking about the hands they're playing, I mean,
Yes,
there's a lot of that, right?
right.
And but you have always been what can I say, faithful to your style, to your. It's like you want to tell. For me, it feels like you want to tell more about your life in Vegas than you. It's you have done it a few times, of course, but it's not very often you are giving a hand history, stuff like that.
Right. When I first got here, I would talk about hands, but it became very frustrating because even though I consider myself fairly decent at multitasking, after playing a session and then walking down the strip, talking to my camera, or driving
Yeah.
at night in Vegas and talking to my camera about a hand, everything I'm thinking isn't necessarily coming out of my mouth.
Hmm.
And then what is coming out of my mouth may not fit the perfect written hand history style of a poker forum,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. So in the beginning, I took the vlog very personally. I still take the vlog personally, but I also took all the comments personally, right? And so every comment that was negative was very frustrating to me because there would be a comment that would say something that was completely different than what I said. And I would even go back and watch it sometimes and say, did I say that? And then I would engage, and it just became so frustrating that I was like, I am not talking about poker anymore. I don't want to talk about hands. I don't want to talk about why.
Right.
I
Yeah.
I re-raised with pocket tens. I don't want to talk about any of that shit, right? So it was more fun for me to just show the struggle.
Yeah.
It really the struggle is more, and a lot of people will tell you their favorite um, chapter of the vlog would be the ones where I lived at Desert Manor,
Yeah.
where it was just a constant struggle every day
Mm.
of not having enough money, having to go to work, having to do all this stuff. And, you know, later it became more fun for me and more comfortable for me. And I think the vlog started to suffer a little bit actually as a result, almost to the point where I was like, man, I should move back into a shithole like Desert Manor because the videos were just better,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So
So you're working that job at the link after, I don't know, about a year in Vegas, something like that.
16, I started that, that would be, I started that job in August or September of 2015. So yes, a year, like maybe,
Mm.
wow, is that really true? That's crazy. My timeline in my head is all
Yeah,
completely
fair
screwed
enough.
up, but I guess so. Yeah, that would be,
And then
you know, I don't even know now. Yeah, I guess it is.
then again something kind of happened, because now suddenly you got the Go Gamble brand. You kind of developed that during
Well,
a time period.
no,
No,
yeah, that was later.
that was later.
Yeah, so while I was dealing poker at the league, I actually did that for a year.
Mm-hmm.
The poker room opened, and 1 year later, it closed.
Oh, okay.
And so, uh, fortunately, it closed at the end of August 2016, or the end of somewhere around that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was ending, but we had just had the World Series of Poker, so every poker room in town was super busy the whole summer.
Yeah.
There were so many people coming through, and I had to work more than I normally worked,
Mm.
which I didn't want to do, but it was adding money to my life role,
Yeah, yeah.
and so I made a decision. So I don't know what it's like in other parts of the world, but here when you go rent an apartment, there's an application process,
Mm-hmm.
and in the application looks at your income. You have to make a certain multiple of the rent each month in order to be allowed, right?
Okay.
So it's very difficult uh, to show income without a job,
Yeah.
right? So I was living in Desert Manor at this point for about a little over 2 years, like 2.5 years, and I really wanted out. I had about $7,000 now in cash that I had, put together somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I guess from dealing and whatever, dealing, and maybe I won some playing. I don't even know. But as I when I found out the job was ending, I said to myself, well, I either need to get a decent apartment right now, or it could be a long time.
Yeah.
The only problem is the job's ending, and I was paying like $600 a month at Desert Manor, and now I'm talking about going and paying more than $1,000 a month for rent alone, plus the utilities and everything.
Yeah, I
And
understand.
so this was a real gamble, right?
That
Because
was
I
a
do.
Yeah, I understand what you mean, but you had to do it at that point of time, because now you could actually show some income, some steady income.
Right. And if the job ends, then I can't show
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
income.
yeah.
Yeah. So fortunately, also in June of that year, June 2016 was the first month ever that I made $500 from YouTube ad revenue. So before that, I was making, it took me forever to make my first $100, right?
Mm-hmm.
But once I started gaining subscribers and getting more views, I was making a little more, and it was to the point where I was making more than $100 a month. And then suddenly that summer is my income from June, I believe it was June, it was either May or June, was over $500. And so I was just like, man, if I continue to grow on YouTube, July, by the way, was $700,
Mm-hmm.
and August was, I can't remember all the numbers, but I think August was about 800 or 900.
So you could see progress.
Yeah, and I was like, if I keep making videos, because at this time I had already experimented with doing daily vlogs.
Mm.
I had the flu. I was sick for a week. While I was down and not making videos and not going to work, somebody started a poker vlog.
Yeah.
The name was like Tappin, Tappan or something like that.
Uh-huh.
He put out a couple of videos, and then I saw people on social media saying, "Don't let this dude catch you.
Yeah.
Don't let him get more." You know what I mean? And so I remember saying to myself, "Nobody is ever going to catch me." Of course, that's not true, but I said I'm going to make a video every day for 7 days as soon as I get over this flu that I had.
Yeah.
And so I actually went for 70 something days in a row.
Yeah.
A video every day for like 77 days or something like that. And I almost killed myself doing it. I was dealing at the leak, making a video every single day.
Yeah.
But I did it. And so when I started doing the daily vlogs that year, I also noticed an exponential growth in the channel. So I just gambled. I was like, I'm not making enough money. My job is ending, but I'm going to go get this apartment. And I go and I'm paying $1,300 a month, including the water and plus the electricity.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is when the Go Gamble thing came about. Was after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that kind of became your brand. I mean, you developed the web shop for your the fish hoodies. I can see you're wearing one now.
I forgot I was wearing it actually. It's poker fish. You know, it's like in the style of a face card.
I know. And the caps, of course, and also your Go Gamble your coffee thing, the blend, the Gamble blend.
Go Gamble blend. Yeah, that's what we have. That's what we have right here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can only ship that in the United States. It's ridiculous. If I ship you a bag of coffee, it's $39.
Yeah, and I guess a lot of European rules about importing anything you can eat or drink. It's
not even that. It's just the shipping.
Okay. Yeah.
Just the shipping cost alone, it's ridiculous. I think the last thing I checked, someone ordered it from the UK. It was going to be $29 to ship 2 bags of coffee.
Wow.
And I remember, I think it was Australia that was $39.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can only ship it in the United States, but the hoodies and the hats and everything worldwide, unless you're in North Korea or Iran. You know, and that's not my choice. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. But and then your Trooper Thursday game in Westgate. That how did that happen?
So that happened. That's kind of an interesting story. I will say this: of all the things that have come out of making YouTube videos, the Westgate is by far the top of the list.
Mm-hmm.
As far as benefiting me, as far as being something good that came out of it that basically is income and pays, you know what I mean? I hate to talk about money, but I mean, at the very beginning, when I first started doing YouTube, the reason I got interested was because I found out people were making money doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. In 2011 is when I learned that, oh shit, people are making money from this. And I was just getting into, I had a few months where I was just getting into watching YouTube. I'd never really paid close attention to YouTube as a regular form of entertainment. And so I was just racking my brain. What can I do? What can I do? And I just started making vlogs when I went on a poker trip. And, but the YouTube ad revenue is one thing. Selling the Go Gamble hats and the t-shirts, you know, is another thing. Westgate is another thing. And Westgate's at the top of the list.
Okay.
As far as just like having a regular thing. So someone that I played poker with at Caesar's Palace, his name is Tim, actually. I played poker with him one night. He told me he had just discovered my vlogs and he likes them and blah, blah, blah. You know, we were just playing poker.
Yeah.
And he was an employee at the time of Caesar's Palace. Mm-hmm. He was, oh man, what's it called? I think he was a marketing analyst or something like that. So then several months later, I got an email from this guy, Tim. He's now a financial analyst at the Westgate.
Yeah.
He has worked in poker in the past in California, worked in some poker rooms, even considered buying a poker room one time. And he had worked in poker, plays poker, and he found out that the Westgate poker room was going to reopen. And so he was just basically outside of his own job. He wanted to assist in the opening of the poker room. He wanted to help with some out of the box marketing ideas and things like this. So he sent me an email and he was like, what do you think about hosting a game at the Westgate where you can, have your viewers or your friends or whatever. We just want you to come here and play.
Yeah.
And he was like, we're willing to offer you, reduced rate, free food, potentially a free room if it works out from time to time or whatever. He was just, thinking of perks. So I was like, wow, I didn't respond right away. And I thought about it. And the reason I thought about it is another name in poker that you may or may not know. Lyman. Do you know who Lyman is? Have you ever watched Live at the Bike or?
Sure.
Lyman with the okay.
Yeah, I know who it is.
Yeah. So I had come in contact with Lyman a couple of times because I used to listen to his podcast, and I thought he is very intelligent and knows his way around gambling and casinos. And the most the best podcast I ever listened to about the casino world in general was a podcast from Lyman before he was doing Live at the Bike. It was on Bart Hansen's Crush Live Poker.
Yeah.
It was called Poker Sesh, and he was talking about making money in a casino outside of playing poker. And he is the host of PLO games in California. So I met him. I tweeted to him one time. He tweeted back. It was fun. We met, and then I called into his show, Poker Sesh, a couple of times, and I found out how it all works. And he really inspired me to host a poker game for the people who come to town who are viewers of my vlog. And he told me how he does it. And so when I got this email from Tim at Westgate, I was like, okay, well, all that sounds great. Reduced rate, free food, everybody can come, but that's not what I wanted out of the deal. So I responded, and then I went and had a meeting with Tim, and I was like, all that stuff sounds great, but rather than doing that, let's see, how should I put this without sounding super greedy or whatever? Because this is at the end of the day, YouTube and poker and Go Gamble and all that stuff is a business. And I want to survive doing those things, right? I don't want to go wait tables in someone else's restaurant and do shit I don't want to do in order to eat, right? So I basically said, listen, when it comes to the reduced rate, the free food, we ended up getting free food anyway. But when it comes to the reduced rate, we don't need an incentive for my players to come here.
No.
If I host a game, there's the incentive.
Exactly.
People that want to, and I do not consider myself a celebrity. I don't consider myself anyone that anyone should want to meet or anything like that, right? I don't see myself as anything. So, but the fact of the matter that I cannot ignore, especially by that point, because I had so many hundreds of people come up to me while I'm playing poker or see me on the strip, and it was just getting crazy. I was like, wow, all these people know me and they like my videos, which is a whole separate weird thing for me. But I was like, the motivator, the incentive is that I'm hosting the game. So we got people who, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. That's the reason why they wanted you to host it, right?
Right. So the I think the reduced rate was a way to try to sell it to me, but that's not the selling point. And so, if we got a group of people who are like-minded already, this guy from Montana, that guy from Oklahoma, this guy from Florida, they all watch my videos. It's kind of like at the water cooler at work when you talk about the episode of, some TV show the night before or whatever. So, there's an incentive already for everyone to come there. So I was like, keep the rake normal. Don't give me anything else. Just give me half the rake.
Yeah.
Right. Don't, put all the rake down there, and I should be compensated for bringing all this business to the Westgate.
Of course.
Which I brought a shit ton of business to the Westgate. I wish that I had become an independent casino host in the beginning and had everyone's wife and girlfriend and brother who doesn't play poker that they brought to the casino, I would have made a lot of money. Because I mean, I brought people there that sit in the high roller blackjack and run, up and down 50 grand, believe it or not. So that would have been lucrative, but that's a whole other thing. But so that's basically what I did. It didn't end up being half the rake, but it is something close to that. And so from the beginning, and it's been running now, I don't even know, when did we start that? I don't even know. It's been 3 years, maybe. Of course, this last year was
special.
Yeah, very special. almost non-existent.
But
it would be about 3.5 years at this point, though.
Yeah. How's that game in general? Is it people like me coming to Vegas once a year, joining it, or is it
absolutely?
Is it a lot of locals?
There are a few locals, all of whom are very friendly, who are part of the gang, basically.
I've seen the Old Man Coffee playing with you a lot of times, and I can't remember the other guy.
Clubs and tacos. And,
tacos. That was the one I was thinking.
Yeah,
yeah.
All very friendly people who basically, in a way, fall into a role of being like sub-host or something. People come there to see tacos, or clubs, or where's tacos, or where's Old Man Coffee, or this type of thing. So, but generally speaking, the majority of the players are players that come through when they're in town. Now, there are some people that come to Vegas 5 times a year, and every time they come to Vegas, they come to the game.
Yeah.
So we have like these semi-regular. So it really is the most fun poker I've ever played, because it's kind of like playing home game poker, but there's someone in control of the game to keep it moving so that it doesn't deteriorate into just madness, And we do bomb pots every 30 minutes. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then the host feels guilty when he wins a pot. So it can't get much better for some people.
How is I have a few questions that's kind of linked together, because and let me know if I cross any border, anything you don't want to talk about or anything. But
no, I have a new policy in 2021.
Yeah.
I'm talking about everything. So
oh, nice.
I hope I didn't just screw myself by saying that.
No, it's not that bad.
Okay.
I was thinking, because you came to Vegas, like, let's say 8 years ago, something like that, playing the 1-2, the 1-3 games, sometimes the 2-5 games. And with all due respect, Tim, you're kind of still doing that, right?
Yes.
It's not like you moved up to now. Then you played 5-10, then you played 25-50, something like that.
Right.
So I have a lot of questions regarding this issue. Do you?
I'm glad you're asking this, because I it's not something I sit down and make YouTube videos about. You know what I mean? And then if I do, not everyone sees it anyway. So, but yeah.
And I for one, being a low roller, I perfectly understand that. Okay, you want to play in the games you can win in, right?
Yeah.
But I'm curious, because okay, everyone is talking GTO, studying, blah blah blah, and I know there's a huge difference between online poker and live poker. But what do you do to keep up with the theory stuff? What do you do to still be able to be plus EV in the games you're playing?
Well, you got into a tough part of the question. I would say that I never had any real interest in moving up to 5-10 and beyond. So I think that if I was properly rolled and had the time to put in, at least 40 hours a week at 2-5, that would be the place for me to play. So, and then if there was March Madness weekend, for example, and the 5-10 games are just crazy, then stepping over there and playing with the maniacs, or the fish or the bad players, the people who are just gambling and who have you know $80,000 bet on basketball games or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but for me, the 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 most stressful part of playing poker in Vegas for me is making YouTube videos.
Mm.
Because I'm going to tell you, when I moved to my new apartment, the Casa del Trooper, the one I moved out of Desert Manor,
Yeah.
and while I was at Desert Manor as well, but really when I moved, I literally did 18-hour days, like day after day after day, where I go to the strip, I shoot all this video. I try to get cool intro shots. I do time lapses to put in there, and I play poker, and I come home and I edit all this stuff myself. Never had a single person help me with a single thing ever, and it's a lot of work. And so when you try to do that day after day after day, sometimes it's difficult to put in a proper amount of time playing poker. So I can't even tell you the number of hours, but the number of hours that I put in at poker was nowhere near enough. It was nowhere near enough to realize the EV, let's just say. So let's just say that I expect to make $15 an hour at 1-3. I'm just pulling that number right out of the sky.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So I could play 800 hours and be down. I could play 800 hours and be above $15 an hour. I could play 800 hours and be dead even. I mean, there's just, I feel like that I've played a year's worth of poker over the course of like 3 years, because I was playing a lot of 3-hour sessions, and it's just not enough time. The best period of time, if I were to take a small window of time since I moved to Las Vegas and say that this is the best I did, it was a 2-week period when I went to MGM Grand, and I had a poker goal that I forced myself to do, and that was to play 100 hours in 2 weeks.
I remember that,
yeah. It was a promotion that they had, and I had some very real realizations about poker during that time. I realized that when I forced myself to play 9 hours, number one, I was in no hurry. So patience was not an issue anymore, because I wasn't trying to have a win in a 2.5-hour span of time so that I wouldn't have to report a loss to the vlog. Right? So that's another thing that really screws with you psychologically, is when you're telling someone, not just someone, but 10,000 people every day, or 12,000 or whatever, that you lost 300 tonight or whatever. But I never would tell them that, well, I only played 2.5 hours or something like that, So that's one thing that I always kind of kept to myself, the length of my sessions and how many hours I was putting in, because I didn't like the fact that I wasn't playing enough. But in order to pump out the YouTube videos, I couldn't play 8 hours a day. I could have died during the MGM 100-hour challenge. Like, I remember the last day, I slept 4 hours before the promotional tournament the next day, because I went to bed at 4 a.m. and got up at 8 a.m. because the tournament started, I think, at 10 a.m. or something like this. And so, and that was at the end of the 2 weeks. And so, but I learned that it's not something I learned. It's just something I really realized and saw in practice, that when you're in a poker game for 8 hours, you have the opportunity to see a lot of people come and go. You are there for their entire session. So the human psychology that happens when some guy is in Vegas it's kind of the same psychology as me. When a guy is there and the only day he can play poker is Wednesday because his wife is doing something else, and he has exactly 4 hours to play, and dinner reservations an hour later, there's a certain path that his brain takes. And a lot of times it ends up dumping the stack at the end. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a lot of things that go on. So the best I ever did was when I was playing longer hours throughout the days. I made over 5K including the promotions
Mm.
that those 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of it was just because, I mean, obviously I probably ran a little good too, but I mean, I think I got 750 out of the, I don't even remember
Yeah,
all the details, but you know what I mean, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
I just felt like I played my best. So I guess that's kind of the thing. The reason I haven't moved up is because it's been very difficult to juggle YouTube and poker.
yeah. I understand.
Poker needs to be a full time job, like full time plus, if you really want to grind out a profit. And so, reason I don't like to play, I don't, here's another thing. I don't like to play 2-5. I don't like to play a bigger game
Mm.
when I feel limited on time.
I understand. Yeah,
So when
every
I edit the, yeah,
no, go ahead, go ahead.
no, when I edit a vlog in the after, when I wake up in the day, I wake up at 10 a.m. I start editing by 11, 11:30. I'm done by 1 or 2. By the time I take a shower and leave the house, it's 4. And then as soon as I leave the house, I'm thinking, oh my God, I have to do all this again. And I have to edit a video for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I have enough time to go play. So I don't like to go play and put more money at risk when I know that I'm not going to be there for a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
So it has held me back, and I've held myself back as a result. It's definitely, people talk about balance, balance, balance. Let me tell you something. If you make a daily vlog of any quality at all and you play poker, there's a serious balance issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I perfectly understand, because as a every professional poker player that I know of, they always says you have to treat it like a business. You have to blah blah blah. And of course, it would be hard for me to work 2 jobs and really treat it as my job. And with the Go Gamble brand, all the other stuff you have going around, the YouTube things, like as you're telling us about, I perfectly understand it. It's a priority, of course it is.
Yeah, and as soon as I started the Go Gamble thing, people started contacting me right away. They wanted to know, do you have any hats? Can I buy a hat from you? And I basically do all of my T-shirts and stuff on a print to order type of situation. So you go online, you order a shirt, I then have it printed and sent to you, right?
Yeah.
So that I don't have to do inventory. I pay a premium for that. I could have made a fortune if I would have just kept it to a couple of designs and just, had them printed in advance. And I really should have done that with the hats, but I was able to have a wider variety, different colors, different, sizes and all these things by doing it this way. But there was a time where I was ordering 50 or 60 hats, every, 2 or 3 or 4 weeks that I was, having made and keeping them here in Vegas. And so anytime, if I was playing at MGM and a guy sent me a Twitter message from the Win and was like, I'm in town, are you on the strip? I want to get a Go Gamble hat. I made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you can imagine how much time that takes just to make $10 profit on a hat. You know what I mean? But I sold thousands of hats that way, running around the strip on foot, sometimes in the car, sometimes on an electric skateboard. But it was all about just like, trying to make contact with everyone who wanted to make contact with me for that purpose. Because I know if they want to buy a hat, they're probably not a psycho trying to kill me or something.
Well, I have to tell you one thing. I'm kind of thinking you're trying to kill yourself every time you ride that that skateboard or whatever on the streets, in the streets where the cars are driving.
Yeah. For me, there is definitely danger. Okay, but you've ridden a skateboard before, right?
Well, yeah, of course. We were all 14 once.
What's that?
We were all 14 or 15 years once, right?
Oh, right. Yeah. So you kind of know what it's like to ride a skateboard. The first thing you have to know is that the particular electric skateboard I ride is multiple times more stable, and it's heavier and it's smooth. It's very different than just riding a regular skateboard. There's no such thing as speed wobbles. Remember that?
Yeah.
If you're going too fast down a hill, that doesn't happen, right? So it's much more stable and safe than you would think. And then when you go beyond that, once you realize that, it's like it's not that much more dangerous than riding a bicycle.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my opinion, I have a very close friend who just got hit by a car on a bicycle
Oh.
by this drunk driver, right?
Mm, mm.
And he's like up in the air, lands on the car, rolls in the grass. Fortunately, he's fine. But
Good.
it's I don't think it's any more dangerous really than that. And then when you start talking about the Las Vegas Strip, cars can only go so fast. They can only go so many different
Yeah.
directions.
True.
Probably the most dangerous thing that could have happened is someone open a door
Mm.
as I'm approaching and I hit it
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
Goonies or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Fortunately, that never happened.
Uh,
But I hear you. It's dangerous. Don't
you
get me
just
wrong.
take
I
care
know
out
it's
there.
yeah.
Tim, let's wrap up your story because we have a few other subjects I also want to talk to you about, right?
Okay. Yep.
Okay, so you moved to. I'll do it a little faster than the.
Okay.
You moved to your new apartment, Casa del Trooper. All of us we all saw that, and
Yep.
now I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. A few years ago, you met Lady Trooper, right?
I
Something
would
like that.
say probably 2 years and like maybe 4 months. Yeah.
That's very
Right.
precise. I have.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It was yeah, maybe 6 months. I don't know.
Uh,
Something like that.
uh, and now you moved to a new place, and everything is well. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and you're living
It's
the life in
different.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's a very different experience for me. I never moved in with anyone before.
No.
Uh, Girlfriends here and there, or whatever, but I never, pardon me, I never got to a level where I wanted to move in with someone.
Hmm.
So this is very new,
Yeah, yeah,
for me. So it's taking some adjusting because I spent a lot of time alone, by
yeah,
choice, by
yeah.
design. I've always valued, uh, just own space. Everything is exactly how I left it. Nobody else to concern myself with.
Mm.
Basically, ducking responsibility, I guess you could say.
But it's another priority in your life, right? And now you also have. don't don't misunderstand, but I have the same issue. I have a wife too. It I have some kids. It takes
Yeah,
time away from other stuff, and we all have to prioritize what the things going on in our life, right?
yeah, that's
Um,
true.
so what was I thinking? Yeah, I've had a few people writing a few questions that I should maybe ask you before we move on to the more general Vegas talk.
Okay.
Um, let me just look it up right here. Uh, yeah, yeah. There's one guy. He's asking, and I know being from Europe and all, there's a lot of rules about moving to the US and stuff like that. But I have one guy. He's asking, what would be your best advice if, like, let's say a guy like me, I'm 46 years old. If I
Yeah.
wanted to move to Vegas, I will move away from my apartment, sell all my furniture, whatever, have a bankroll and start playing some 1, 2, 1, 3 poker in Vegas, living cheap, stuff like that. What would your best advice be?
Um. Oh man. Well, you know what I have to say.
Don't do it.
This. No, no, no. Well, I would say that to a lot of people, but I tell you, my best advice, it has to be this. It has to be that you have to be totally honest with yourself. If you are the type of person to have any type of vice that will break you, don't do it
What
because
do you mean?
uh,
You have. What do you mean? Any type of vice?
so a vice that will actually break you, like if you have any trouble gambling
Ah, okay.
in
Now I
in the
know. Yeah.
pits, if you have a trouble with prostitutes,
Mm-hmm.
if you have a problem with drinking or drugs,
Mm.
here's the problem with Vegas. Vegas is nonstop, nonstop, everywhere you go. There, every gas station, okay, grocery store, like regular supermarket, 8 miles away from the strip. you walk into the grocery store to buy, eggs and milk and butter,
Mm-hmm.
video poker is right there in your face.
Yeah.
So if you're the kind of person, and if you have a problem with alcohol or any other kind of drugs, uh, there are supposed to be rules in place to help you not lose all your money when you're drinking, but they
Mm.
don't really work.
No, no,
They
no.
don't really work. And if you stumble into Caesars and you are have been drinking and you decide to go put your rent on the blackjack table,
Mm-hmm.
your rent is going to the blackjack table,
Mm. Mm.
right? So I believe that there are many, many, many people who have moved to Vegas to try to play poker. Well, I don't believe it, I know it. Who fail, not because they can't play poker, but because they give all of the money to the pit, they give all of their money to video poker or slot machines, drugs, nightclubs.
Whatever.
Everything is excess here,
Yeah.
So now weed is legal. I don't know how that affects people. I have no idea, but I imagine if you want to spend a fortune on weed, you can spend a fortune on weed,
Mm.
you know?
Mm.
And they have this stuff now on the strip. I don't know if when you were here before, Planet Hollywood Casino, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go up the escalator. There's a bridge that goes west to the Cosmo, but at the top of that bridge, there's a little mall type thing. There's like a couple of restaurants, a couple of fast food things, Rainforest Cafe, I think, or whatever, a tattoo parlor, and there's a freaking weed store right there in this thing
Yeah, it's
with glass cases with weed in it. So if you are of age and you want to buy weed, you go right there and buy weed.
it's
So like, it's just another thing.
it's so different than in Denmark anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what Denmark is like.
We'll talk about that someday because it's a lot different from Vegas and the poker and the gambling world. You can't even compare anything. So
Right. So that's what I would say. My best advice is if you are the type of person who could fall into a black hole of alcohol, gambling, drugs,
mm,
strippers, hookers, and there's probably things that I can't even think of
yeah,
that are pitfalls for you
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
You will, you just can't make it. You're just surrounded by it
So you have to be
every
really
day.
honest to yourself if you were thinking
Yeah,
about making that move. But
24 hours a day. It's just anything you want,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
But Tim, I have never seen you had a beer in any
I never
vlog.
have.
A drink. I've never seen you do like yeah anything out of the ordinary. During COVID, I've seen some live streams with you and Christina going and playing some craps, whatever.
Which has an obvious explanation. Go ahead.
Yeah, but is that really you? Not.
Well, yes. So I worked in a restaurant business for years and years, and everyone who works in the restaurant business is known for drinking and partying. I mean,
Mm,
that's what they all do
mm,
after work. 85% of the people at work, 90% of the people at work in the kitchen, wait staff, management, they all go out to the bar.
mm,
That actually did make life a little bit lonely for me because when they all went out to the bar, I didn't. So that is actually how I got into gambling in the first place. Actually, that's a whole nother story. I used to gamble, but as far as the drinking and the drugs, I just never did it.
mm,
I never did it. I didn't do it in high school. I didn't do it after high school. I have good friends who, in eighth grade, we made promises to each other we're never going to drink any alcohol, right?
mhm,
Because for whatever reason. And even when they finally gave in, I just never did. So for me, easy. I
mm.
have zero interest in any kind of mind altering substance except maybe coffee. And that's a whole other argument that I don't think is worth having
Ah,
because I'm pretty sure that I can drink this until I'm 95 and it's not really going to affect me. So,
ah,
and I'm in my right mind when I drink it, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
I just don't do it. As far as the gambling goes, I did have an issue with gambling many years ago. I no longer do.
yeah. Mm,
I think there are two reasons for that. Reason number one is I found poker,
mm,
and poker. at least at that time, was a way for me to satisfy urges while doing something that I was plus EV at.
Mm-hmm.
And how plus EV I am at poker today is a debate and an argument. But in 2005, 6, 7, 8,
Mm.
I was definitely plus EV
Mm-hmm.
at
Mm-hmm.
poker.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. But I didn't have uh, that's another issue. A whole other issue is that the reason I always wanted to play poker was so I could be lazy. Turns out you cannot be lazy and play poker. So that's a difficult thing. But I learned why I gambled,
Yeah.
and that's an entirely different subject. Probably for a psychiatrist to sit behind me and say, "Damn, how did he figure that out
Mm.
all by himself?"
Mm-hmm.
But I figured out why I gambled. Then I figured out the root cause of it. And once I understood that I was doing it to myself on purpose, that I was losing all my money on purpose,
Mm.
then I was able to stop doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's compulsive gambling. And most compulsive gamblers have an emotional need to lose.
Yeah.
Which is something that is difficult to wrap your mind around. But once you realize that you are actually addicted to the torment that you put yourself through after you just lost your rent on the first, and now you have to wait tables 2 shifts a day, 7 days a week, so that you don't get evicted, and you are addicted to that stress, then you can say, "Oh shit, I don't have to do that." So that's a whole nother thing. But I don't do any of it. I just don't. I don't have any. My only vice really is coffee, and a tendency to be lazy. But I can't maintain my YouTube channel and be lazy. So I'm sort of stuck trying to make it all work.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, but I can. Yeah, I'm hearing what you're telling us, because I can relate to some of the stuff, and I guess everyone can in some way, right?
Yeah.
And of course, don't. Some wise person once told me, don't mix vacation with immigration. If that makes sense in any way. That when a guy like me comes to Vegas for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
it's another party than staying there.
It's another story than if you stayed here, right?
Yeah.
So don't confuse your vacation with what it would be like to stay there.
Exactly.
And that's another thing, is that there are things about Vegas that some people just aren't going to like. I don't like living in the desert. I mean, my hands are ridiculous, and I hate lotion, right? And it's just so dry here and dusty. So, there are a lot of things about it, but I mean,
Okay, there's just one more question I wanted to ask you, because this guy that was actually a guest in this podcast a few months ago, he asked us, or he wanted me to ask you, that he actually stopped watching your channel. I don't know exactly when, maybe a few years ago, because he was very into the when you were making the videos with the you had this whiteboard with and played the single table sit and goes with the llamas and stuff like that.
okay.
Yeah, these small projects, whatever. It also the 2 weeks you played at MGM, the 100 hours.
Little challenges and
Challenges,
goals
projects,
like
stuff
this.
like that.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
And now he feels like, okay,
I'm complacent. Or
can't
is that the word?
can't
Is that
really can't really what's it called? Can't really. The one video looks a lot like the next one, right? You wake up, you
Yeah.
make the coffee, you go down there, play some poker, blah blah blah, something like that.
Yes.
But that's, of course, he's entitled to have his opinion about that. But
It's valid.
what I wanted to twist the question a little bit and ask you, okay, how many thoughts do you have about keeping your content interesting, trying to renew it in different ways, stuff like that?
Yeah. I I'm going to try to answer that. But can I tell you one thing first that
Of
I
course.
completely spaced out on?
Of course.
The live streams where you saw me gambling,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
that was with other people's money.
Yeah, I remember
Okay,
somebody.
so there were a couple of
Yeah.
friends. There maybe like 3 or 4 different friends who couldn't come to Vegas because of quarantine
Mm.
and because of the pandemic or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm, mhm.
Who said, "Hey, why don't I send you some money and you play bubble craps for me?"
Yeah, yeah.
And then there was no actual like deal, like, oh, I'm going to keep half the money or nothing like that. It was like they would usually kick me some money when we won.
Yeah.
So that just to be clear, because I just said that I don't gamble, and I don't, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, sure, sure.
all right, I didn't want to leave that open. I was
Ah, fair
thinking about
enough,
it.
fair enough.
Yeah. So it's difficult. It is very difficult, especially now. Touching on the point that you made about other responsibilities. So I now have given myself the responsibility of someone else's day-to-day happiness, right?
Yeah.
Living with Lady Trooper, and so uh, every little thing that takes any time. See, I've lived most of my life alone and completely selfish because I wanted to just do what I want to do every minute of the day.
Mhm.
And if I was alone, it would be much easier to, and I am brainstorming a lot and I'm inspired. The new t-shirts that you see coming out is one leg of the current inspiration that I have that's coming from a completely unexpected place. So I think so let me also say the last year has been my life has been completely and totally different than what it was
Yeah.
when this particular guy liked to watch the videos. And my intention is to get my YouTube channel back to a place where this particular person would enjoy watching the videos and
Mm.
have something to look forward to each day. uh, it has been much more difficult for me to adjust to being involved in someone else's life and vice versa than I thought it would be.
Mm.
And, then the pandemic happened. And if I was alone, I thought about this 2 nights ago. I thought about this. What if I was still living alone, doing my own thing,
Mm.
totally alone during the pandemic? What would I have done?
Mm.
And I tried to think of like, what would I have done YouTube wise? Would I have continued to make a video every day? Would I have, I just don't know, right? So the pandemic really, and also when you take that part of it, and then you take the fact that during the lockdown, there's no poker, there's no Trooper Thursday.
Mm.
My YouTube channel is like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Hardly anyone. I got to tell you right now, when I don't post videos, nobody orders hats and t-shirts.
Yeah, I understand.
But when I start posting videos, all of a sudden orders for hats and t-shirts
Yeah.
come in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then the coffee company decided that they weren't going to fulfill my coffee
Oh, yeah,
anymore.
you had to change that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So to be completely honest with you, my life role, my business, if you want to call it that, everything has taken a huge hit, just like everyone in the world, except
Mm.
for the top
Mm.
few. I mean, if you're Amazon, I'm sure you're doing fine. But if you're Walmart, you're great, right? But pretty much everybody else has suffered in some way or another. This is one way that I've suffered. So my bankroll, life roll, everything has sort of taken a huge hit,
Mm.
and then it's a struggle. So I considered talking more about the struggle, and I did hint about the struggle. In fact, there is a video called "Nothing Stops the Gamble,"
Yeah.
where yeah, I did a whole you know monologue about how the pandemic affected me personally and how I intend to prevail, just like the rest of the world will. And so my intention is to and maybe what you just said would be a good place to start. But trying to figure out, trying to do the Trooper Thursday thing, and I've started streaming on Sundays,
Mm,
playing online tournaments, and that's another like. Well, I'm not going to go out and play poker on Sundays now because I really enjoy doing that.
mm,
So my all I can say is, uh, Operation Uptick, maybe the road to WSOP 2021 if it happens, and maybe just some challenges that maybe revolve around promotions that poker rooms are having or something. You actually asking me that question, thanks to that person's feedback to you,
mm-hmm.
may actually give me a little kick in the pants that I need to figure out a way to, because I need to be doing these things anyway.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Not just for videos, but I need to be challenging myself, and I need to but it's kind of like, once you say something on YouTube that you're going to do something, you got to do it.
yeah.
You can't say you're going to do it and then not do it.
Mm,
So for God's sakes, when I drove across America for a month, when I was on the road, just as a lighthearted, in the moment comment, I said, when I get back to Vegas, I'm going to eat healthier.
mm.
When I came back to Vegas, the first burger I had, I was bombarded with criticism about how you said you were going to eat healthier when you got back to Vegas, and now you're not following through. It's like complete, you know what I mean? And so, as insane as that sounds, it still goes into my psyche and says, yeah, you're not doing what you said, but it's stupid, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So if I say I'm going to cut back on the coffee, if you see me drinking coffee tomorrow, there's going to be 12 people who are just bombarding me with
yeah,
nonsense.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So I do try to follow through. And when I did the 100 hours challenge, people, naysayers everywhere, you'll never play 100 hours. There's zero chance you make it.
Mm.
So if I say I'm going to do it, I
You
want to
better do it.
So
Yeah.
I don't. So now I'm reluctant to put myself in those kind of positions. You know what I mean? But I will put myself in a position soon where I have to complete something, or else all hell is going to break loose. So
Actually, okay, you can have my opinion also, okay?
yes, yes, please.
Because I what I and I've said that earlier in this when we started talking today. What I love the most about your channel, and what I enjoy the most is the honesty. I enjoy the Vegas shots. The kind of it's what I think for a guy like me with a 9 to 5 job, kids, wife, all kind of stuff going around. It's it's kind of okay. It's appealing.
Yes,
It's that might be the right word. Okay, if I could
yes,
just say goodbye to all this daily move to Vegas, play poker, right? You understand what I mean? It's not
I
like
do.
it's never gonna happen. But but your channel is kind of a getaway from my daily
Yes,
routines, right?
yes. So
Uh,
I first figured that out. I used to have a written blog,
mm,
right? Way before I started doing the YouTube thing, like 2006, 7, 8. And it was then that from reading the comments, that when I moved to Vegas the first time, I was like, these guys reading this are living vicariously through me,
mm-hmm.
not because I have a great life, but it's because I'm doing something they wish they could do. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know.
if you could press pause on the wife and the kids, and if however old the kids are now, they will still be that age, frozen in time two
Yeah,
years from now, and you could come to Vegas for those
yeah,
2 years,
yeah.
you would do it like that.
Of
I
course,
know.
that's
And
true.
so, yeah, and so believe me when I tell you, way before I started this YouTube channel, I was well aware that the people that will be watching me are exactly like you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand.
But okay, that also means that I like you visiting casinos. I like your strip walks. I like
Yes.
your thoughts about poker in general, like your all kind of stuff. What I'm not, I don't really enjoy you watching you putting some food in the micro oven.
Yeah.
You
Right.
understand? And
Yes.
I think that's also this other guy's point, maybe a
Yes.
little bit.
Yes.
I don't care if it's if you I don't care if your videos are poker related. It doesn't have to be
Right.
poker related
Right.
for me, but it's yeah, putting stuff in the microwave and going Christmas shopping. I mean, that's I'm also doing that, so it's not that big of a getaway
Right.
now.
It's really funny how you say that because I agree with you. And but you would be surprised at how many people do want to see what went in the
Yeah,
microwave.
but
So, and I know, believe me, I know, right? So, I'll give you an example, and it's sort of the flip side of the coin. Old Man Coffee,
hmm
right? Have you ever watched his videos?
yes, I have.
Okay. So for a while, his videos were basically Trooper Thursday,
Yeah.
and he would show up at the Westgate. He would show some hands, and then off he would go. And so one day I told Old Man Coffee, and I mean, I told him in like 18 different ways. I said, I'm telling you now that if you would just start showing more about your life in the RV
Mm.
and less poker, you would have more viewers.
Yeah.
And he took me so to heart that he went out and made a video of him putting his oatmeal in the microwave.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't tell him to put stuff in the microwave.
I saw that.
I said, show what you have for breakfast,
Yeah, yeah.
show this and that. And there were so many interesting things in that video where I got to see that he uses powdered milk, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I got to see that, you know, his handgun on the counter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I got to see all these things. And I was like, wow, you know. And so, do you know who Andrew Piper is? Bike King. He lives in his car.
Uh, I discovered him recently, actually.
Okay. So I told him the same thing. I was like, Andrew, you live in your car,
mm,
right? You play poker for a living and you live in your car, not because you're homeless, but because you chose to stop paying rent
mm,
because you were like sick of it and you wanted to live in your car.
mm,
I was like, show what that life is like. Show what it is like to wake up in your car.
mm,
Show what it's like to shower at this gym that you have a membership to.
mm.
So, in my opinion, yes, when it comes to Las Vegas, all of that stuff is not interesting. But to a whole lot of people, it sort of is interesting. Now, I may show coffee too much. And it really started for me as a B-roll type of situation. You know what I mean? Like in a movie,
Yeah.
you know, when someone's about to get killed, the fact that they're eating pizza when they get killed is something that no one cares about.
Mhm.
But listen, I'm not perfect. I definitely do try to appeal to a lot of people, and I try to show, you know, what the sentiment is that day, I guess you could say.
Mm.
You know, and it's just a lot of struggles when it comes to trying to make
Yeah.
an interesting video every day. And listen, what is your life every day? I mean, do you get up every day and do something new and different, right?
No.
Nobody hardly
Of
does.
course, and please don't take me wrong, Tim, because
No, no, I don't.
I perfectly understand all of it, and some people like it more, and so yeah, the variety, is that how you pronounce it? Variety.
What's the word?
Variety in your
Oh, variety.
variety. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Virality? Do you mean
No, no, I meant the word you just said.
virality?
The
Oh, variety.
mixing things up in your
Variety.
video. Yeah, I can't say it somehow.
Say this. Variety.
Variety. Variety.
Variety.
Yeah, okay.
Variety.
So
yeah, there's a saying, variety is the spice of life.
yeah, and of course that's also the spice in your YouTube videos.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm going to work harder on that. Can you contact that guy and tell him to give it another chance? Tell him to wait about a week though, because
I certainly can.
something there's I don't want to say anything, but give me a week because the next week is going to be a little hectic for me.
Sure, 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 sure. Okay, let me just scroll through the chat here. There's been. Is it true that the trooper is addicted to Reese's peanut butter eggs?
Well, okay, so I lied earlier. I said I don't have any vices. And listen, those things are terrible. I don't know what a Reese's peanut butter egg in Denmark is like, but in America, it's full of shit ingredients that are probably going to kill people
Ah,
at some point.
okay.
Really bad refined oils, and yeah, I'm done with those. They're delicious though.
Um.
How come I can't see the chat? Are you
Uh.
looking at the chat on Twitch?
Yeah.
I see zero chat. I don't know why.
Hmm.
I've been trying to see it the whole time, and every time I pull it up, I don't have. I can see you, but I don't see any chat. Let me see if. Oh, is it because I'm not signed in?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, forget it. It's too late now. I got to do a token and this and that. You know.
Uh.
But you can tell me the chat that is.
Yeah, that's another guy, and that's actually the guy from our Danish poker forum who was
Okay.
asking about uh, what your best advice would be if anyone wanted to make the same move as you. He's also asking now if what you should expect in living expenses like rent and stuff like that living in Vegas. But yeah, you already mentioned it a few times. I think what you paid at Desert Manor and what you paid in the other apartments.
Yeah, I don't know what Desert Manor would be today.
Mm.
There's a fairly wide range of rent that you can pay. So, um, I think the first thing you would have to do is if you're going to be playing poker, I think you got to base this on whether or not you intend to have a car.
Mm.
Um, there are buses that run 24 hours a day, but I've never experienced it. I have no idea how long it takes you to get from 8 miles west of the strip to the strip.
Mm.
But what I would say is the further away from the strip you are, I believe the more comfortable and happy you will be with your surroundings where you live.
Yeah.
So the further from the strip, the safer, the nicer, the newer, right? So you can live in an apartment maybe 1 mile, 2 miles off the strip, especially west of the strip. I don't know what the rent is there anymore.
Mm.
I don't know if you can pay 800 for a one bedroom. I usually choose to pay somewhere around 1,000 to 1,200 for a one bedroom that is off the strip,
Mm-hmm.
away from the strip,
Mm-hmm.
because it gives you a little sense of normalcy. Like if you want to live in the hustle of the Vegas Strip, there are places where you can find something cheap, but I feel like it's just trash living around you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There are some people that don't mind that, even people who are not trash themselves. But like, for instance, Harmon, do you know where the Hard Rock Casino was? It's about to be Virgin
But it's
Hotel. Yeah,
in a few days, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. In just a couple of days, I believe Thursday, but I'm not sure.
Mm.
There are a couple of like apartments there where you could live, but I wouldn't want to live there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So,
understand.
and everything is newer the further from the strip that you get as well. But
Mm.
there are also brand new things being built right near the strip, but they're expensive. Right across from the Rio, there's this brand new apartment building. I forgot what it's called, but I think it's like 1,600 for a one bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
But it
That.
would be safe and it would be nice
Yeah,
inside.
yeah,
But when you go out, you're looking at the back of the Rio,
yeah,
and the strip is across the freeway, but it just depends on what you're looking for. So
yeah,
if you
yeah.
want something safe and nice and rather new, and you're okay being 8 miles away from the strip, and there's a supermarket around the corner that is clean,
Yeah.
I would say figure around 1,200 for a one bedroom, plus utilities and stuff.
In my opinion, I
Maybe
think it would be kind of healthy also
yes,
to be some miles away from all the
removed
whatever.
from the
Yeah,
strip.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I can't imagine these people who live at like the Veer Towers
yeah,
or the that pay. if you rent one of those, I think you can rent one for like 2,200
Mhm.
for a studio
Mhm.
or a one bedroom or something like that. But I just can't imagine that you only are on the strip
Yeah.
all the time.
Uh,
I mean, I can't imagine it, but now I enjoy being away, right?
yeah, I understand. So let's, Tim, let's talk about Vegas in general. Um, as I told you before we started streaming, I've been to Vegas once in my life. That was in 2019.
Okay.
Uh, and I think a lot of the people who's either watching this on stream or YouTube later, or listening to the podcast are not professional poker players. They are kind of recreational poker players like I am. It's
Yep.
uh, it's a lot of I know a lot of people who maybe go to Vegas once a year, once every second year, stuff like that. So it's not every day I talk to a Vegas local. So I might I
Yeah.
might
Yeah.
take the chance and ask you, okay, what do you think about? Do you have any advice for? We can use me as an example, right? I come to Vegas when the world opens up again. I'm staying for 2 weeks maybe because I know a lot of Americans are coming for the weekend, stuff like that. A few 2 3 days trips, but when you have a 17 hours flight and yeah, only come once a year, you might as well be there for a week or two.
Yeah.
Um, what I did when I was in Vegas, I stayed at the Excalibur for 3 or 4 days, and then I went and stayed at the Four Queens for 3 or 4 days because I was definitely on a budget, so I couldn't stay at the Bellagio or someplace like that.
Yeah.
Um, and I think most of the people I know and who want to listen to this, they are also maybe not on a budget, but still not. It's not like the penthouse at the Cosmo or something. So
Who needs that? Who needs it?
some ask my wife who needs
Okay.
that. So if we talk about hotels, the Strip downtown, um, let do you have any advice as a tourist? What do you think about
For hotels?
it? Yeah, just
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. I have I have either stayed or been inside the rooms of uh, I guess most of the hotels, and a lot of them have been renovated. I remember. So I would say, you know what, my needs and wants when it comes to a hotel room are different than other people. I would say that I was not a fan of the Link
mm,
hotel, but they may be one of the cheaper ones. As far as honestly, I think my thing would be stay at the cheapest place, the place where you get the best deal,
mm,
because none of them are terrible. I don't think anyway.
mm.
Um, but you know what? The weird thing is that since I live here now,
You
since 2014, I don't stay in hotels anymore,
no, you
right?
don't
So,
think about that
oh,
as much
yeah, I don't, and
anymore.
I don't experience it as much.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I remember when I stayed at the Four Queens when I first moved here. I remember when I stayed at El Cortez, and I mean, there was, I mean, it was okay.
Mm.
It wasn't anything awful, you know what I mean? So I think I just would stay the cheapest place. If you want even cheaper, maybe it's possible to go like off the strip or something. But
Yeah, probably.
I don't even know anymore. There used to be shuttles, from the Rio to Bally's and the Rio to Harrah's, and I don't even think that exists anymore. And I don't know if they have it for like the Orleans or the Gold Coast, which
Mm.
are about the same distance from the strip. But
Let's talk poker rooms then, because
yeah, that
that's
I know a little more about.
yeah, yeah. Uh, I played at where did I play? I played a lot at the Planet Hollywood.
Yeah,
Uh, and we everyone knows about the Bellagio poker room, the Win Encore poker room area,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Golden Nugget. Uh,
yeah.
is that then that's I have a feeling that that's also the places you play mostly. You had a time where you went a lot out to the Red Rock, didn't you?
Well, I did sometimes, yeah.
Did, do
Um,
do you feel are the games alike? What are the games? Let's say I wanted to play 1-2 or 1-3, something like that. Uh, is it does it really matter where you go?
it matters for multiple reasons, right? So there are several different angles from which to look at this question. So, as far as who are you playing against, right, at
Mm.
Planet Hollywood versus who are you playing against at Bellagio
Mm-hmm.
or Aria, versus who are you playing against at Red Rock,
Mm.
or Santa Fe Station, or South Point.
Mm-hmm.
It's who you're playing against is also determined by some of the other angles from which to look at this question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, if you're on the strip, you're going to have a higher concentration of tourists
Mm-hmm.
versus locals, but there are many, many, many locals who are on the strip every day playing.
Mm.
Some of those locals will play only at Caesar's Palace because of the fact that Caesar's Palace offers double reward credits and tier credits for poker play, right? So you're familiar with players cards,
Yes.
and you swipe those at the when you sit down at the table, and it tracks your hours.
Mm.
So at Planet Hollywood, Bally's, um, Flamingo, those three properties that are Caesar's properties, you get basically $1 per hour in comps.
Yeah.
And then you get 17 tier credits per hour. Tier credits are collected to certain levels to increase your tier
Status.
in
Something.
you're right, your
Yeah.
status,
Yeah.
right? So when you're diamond, you get certain
Yeah.
benefits
Yeah. Yeah.
from
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
So Caesar's Palace is $2 per hour and 34 tier credits. So
Uh-huh.
if you're trying to be diamond status,
Mm.
uh, you're better off playing at Caesar's if that's all you care about. But you are going to be playing with people who play poker every single day at Caesar's because of that, right? So it affects the games. Also, the amount of rake affects the games. So it recently changed. I say recent, relatively recent. There was a time when the maximum rake at Bellagio was $4. It is now $5, which is in line with Caesars, Planet Hollywood, Bally's, everywhere on the strip.
Yeah.
As far as I know, is $5 max rake on the 1-2, 1-3, 2-5. So Planet Hollywood, however, has a promotional drop. So they take $2 to fund the free this and free that.
Yeah,
and if you get a royal flush, you get, whatever.
Yeah.
All those things. So when you're playing at Planet Hollywood for one day, you are funding the promotional drop that the locals will be taking advantage of, right?
Yeah.
So you're paying 5 and 2. Maximum $7 coming out of the pot. If it's $200 pot, $7 is coming out. If you go to Caesars, it's 5 because there's no promotion at Caesars. If you go to Aria, 5, Bellagio, 5, MGM Grand back to 7, right? Flamingo, 7, Bally's, 7. Then when you go downtown to the Golden Nugget, which is effectively the only poker room downtown, it is, I don't even remember. I don't even know what the rake is at Golden Nugget anymore. I think that it's 4 and 2. It might be 5 and 2. It might be 4 and 1. It might be 5 and 1. I have no idea.
That's even that's an uncapped game, isn't it?
That's an uncapped game, right?
Yeah.
The Golden Nugget basically spreads 1-2 no limit, $100 minimum, no maximum. Therefore, there's not really a use for a larger blind game like 2-5, except for the purpose of raising the minimum buy-in.
Yeah.
So there's people that come in that like to start a 2-5 game so they can make the minimum buy-in 500. because they can make any game they want, right? So they can make a $1,000 minimum buy-in 2-5 game if they want. But essentially, all the 1-2 games at the Golden Nugget are a 100 minimum, no maximum. So that makes the rake a lower percentage, right? Because it's the same max rake. If everyone has 2,000 in front of them, or if everyone has 200 in front of them,
Yeah.
you know.
But that's kind of a general thing. You get cheaper food, you get cheaper drinks, you get cheaper hotels, you get cheaper everything downtown than on the strip.
Yeah, and then you have some places in the middle, like the Sahara. I believe Sahara is 4 and 2. You know what? I don't even know what at Sahara Westgate. I don't even know, believe it or not, if the max rake is 4 or 5 at Westgate. And I work in the damn. I think it's 5. 5 for the rake, 2 for the promotional drop. At one point, the Orleans casino was $3 max rake, $2 to the promotion, which is probably the best deal.
Yeah.
In the whole freaking valley.
Yeah.
So, you know, so then, you know.
Well, the reason why I'm asking is that sometimes people ask about this stuff. They're not asking me, but they're asking in Facebook groups and places like that, right? Where are the softest games, and where blah blah blah? And
I would say that as ridiculous as it sounds, when Daniel Negreanu says more rake is better, I actually do find that to be true on the Vegas Strip when it comes to the quality of the game itself. Because the more rake you're paying, the less of those local tight grinders you're going to have in the game.
Yeah.
If you want to go play against those people, go to Caesars. If you want to go play against drinking people who don't have any idea what the rake is, let alone how much it is, go to Planet Hollywood and places like that.
Bally's, Flamingo, places like that.
Yeah, and the more rake is better. We're basically only at this point we're only talking about that there's promotions. Which effectively are neutral EV. The problem is if you're only here for a week, you may not be able to take advantage of your contribution to that.
Yeah, that's my next question, because I can only speak how it is in Denmark. We don't have any. I don't live in a world where you get comped anything. I don't live in a world where coupons is like almost none. They are nothing like coupons in Denmark. Not in the supermarkets, not anywhere. You kind of play the coupon games. And of course you take advantage of your comps. You play poker a lot of hours. You get some food, stuff like that. Is that, you think that's even worth thinking about if you're in Vegas 1 or 2 weeks every year?
Okay, so I would say this. When it comes to the comps that you earn while you're playing a game, if you are at an MGM or a Caesars property, those you can burn up before you leave, one way or another, even if it's just to get some bottles of water on the way to the airport or something, because they're instantly on your card, and you can swipe the card, you hand it, you go into the gift shop at Caesars, and you pick up a T-shirt or whatever, and you have, $24 in comps on your card. You can apply that to the purchase right there.
Yeah.
So I would say yes to that. I would say, though, coupons, if you have a way to get around and you're going to be downtown, the American Casino Guide is absolutely worth the price, because for $13 you get the book. And if you understand a match play, right? For anyone out there who doesn't understand a match play, if you have a $25 match play, that can be played on even money wagers at any table game. So for instance, red at roulette. So if you bet $25 plus a $25 coupon on red, if red is the decision on the game, if you win, then you get paid as if you bet 50. So you're essentially getting 2 to 1 on an even money bet just for that one shot.
Yeah.
So since you're going to win about half the time and lose about half the time, it makes the coupon worth about half the face value of the coupon. So when it says $25, you can consider that you won $12.50, a little less, just by betting it, right? So you have to be able to think that way and say, I don't care if I win or lose, but I'm going to get this value. Because really, if you take that coupon book and you play your $25 match play at the D, at the Golden Nugget, whatever they give for the Palace, the Plaza, and all those places downtown, you're probably going to come out with some extra money, and you will have been able to do some gambling while doing it because, so I think coupons are definitely worth it. The American Casino Guide is worth it. And there's another one called Las Vegas Advisor. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever heard. Yeah, you've probably heard of that. Anthony Curtis.
Yeah, I actually listened to him on the what's it called? The podcast, the Gambling with an Edge.
Gambling with an Edge. I was gonna guess that.
Yeah.
So if you have to join, it's like a membership fee or whatever. I think that one is a little more expensive than the Las Vegas. Than the American Casino Guide. But if you could get both of those coupon books, you can only play those coupons once a year anyway.
Yeah.
You can't go out and buy 20 books and go play 20 times.
No,
right?
Get registered on your player's card, something like that, right?
Yeah. So unfortunately, American Casino Guide did not make a 2021 book, but they did extend with a lot of properties. There's a list on their website of the properties that will honor the 2020 coupons throughout 2021. So you can still buy the old book if you haven't used them. But Las Vegas Advisor does have 2021. And someone sent me theirs because they're not coming to Vegas this year. They already know for a fact I'm not coming to Vegas in 2021. Yeah. So here's my book. And so I went out the other day and I'm up $130 in a couple hours downtown. Just because I bet, because some of them are actual free play. Yeah. So when you get a $10 free play coupon, you get it. You take it to the player's card desk. They load it on your card. You stick your card in the video poker machine. You punch a couple of numbers, and then you have $10 worth of free bets. Yeah. So if you're playing $1.25 a hand, you've got 8 hands that you have to play before you can cash out the full amount. Yeah. You play 8 hands, and whatever's left, you cash out. So it's like, $6.25 for nothing. So no risk.
So the coupons in general is actually a thing that you would recommend for a tourist like me coming a week or two.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would get the American Casino Guide, and if you can get a hold of the Las Vegas Advisor, I would do that. And if you get the American Casino Guide by punching the link in the description of my video, I get like 10% of the money.
Might as well do that.
Like $1.
Might as well do that, of course.
I know. I wasn't even thinking about that when I said it, but
no, it makes sense, of course.
Yeah. So
I have to sometimes when I watch vlogs from Vegas, whatever I do, listen to podcasts, stuff like that. I kind of think that I think to myself that next time I come to Vegas, I want to visit some of the local casinos.
Yes.
You mentioned Silver Legacy. Is that where? No, you mentioned some poker room.
Santa Fe Station.
Santa Fe Station. Yeah. Okay.
Santa Fe Station, Red Rock, the Orleans.
Yeah.
I can't even think. I think there aren't that many anymore, but basically what you're going to find there is a better deal on all food right off the bat.
Okay.
Starbucks coffee, instead of being $5, it's going to be $3.25. And you're going to find the rate is going to be the same, and the comps are going to be the same. The players are going to be mostly local, and I got to tell you, local people in Las Vegas, there's just a gambling culture here, and they all think they're good at gambling, and they all think they're good at poker. So I think you're gonna run into a higher level of aggression sometimes at Red Rock Casino than you might at Planet Hollywood, but you're also gonna run into more people who are trying to you know.
Yeah, bully me around. Yeah, some
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and you're also going to find, you know, lots of promotions because I don't know. It's not the same as it once was. There's not as much competition in poker, but who knows what's going to happen when everything gets back into full swing. I mean, this weekend in Vegas was crazy.
Yeah.
I think it was way busier than a lot of people expected, and I think it's going to be a ridiculously busy summer. And I think that when all of these restrictions go away, I think people are going to be so itching to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
out of their house, out of their
Yeah.
town, and go somewhere else. They're going to come to Vegas. And, this new casino that's opening, Resorts World, 30 table poker room,
Really?
30 tables, brand
Wow.
new casino, hasn't opened yet. And they're opening with a 30 table poker room. So whether or not that'll stay the same, I think is going to depend on whether people go there.
Of
Right.
course.
So
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
I don't know who it is.
But
I don't know anything about,
at least they got a poker room.
yeah, I'm
I was
excited
one of
about
the
it. I can't
guys.
wait.
Exactly. I was really hoping the circuit would have a poker room when they opened, but
Me too, because
it's only Golden Nugget downtown, right? Binions is like
yeah,
non-existing.
yeah. If they even have it anymore,
Yeah.
it's a part of the pit now. It's
Yeah.
not even its own room.
Yeah.
Even the poker dealers split their tips with the blackjack dealers
Mm,
now, or
mm,
something like that.
mm.
So it's not even a real poker room situation anymore. I was hoping Circa would have it, and I thought there was a chance before I knew anything about it, just because a poker room in a Las Vegas casino is considered an amenity. And in
What
order
does
to get a
sorry?
certain
What does that mean, Tim?
amenity
Amenity.
is something that is there for the guest.
Ah, okay,
So
okay.
the hotel guest, the swimming pool, the spa,
Yeah,
basically the restaurants, I guess you could say, the poker room.
yeah, yeah,
It's kind of like what makes the resort the resort.
yeah.
So
I get it.
in order to have a certain star rating from someone, I don't even know who, you have to have a poker room.
Hmm.
So I kind of thought that there was going to be a poker room because of all those reasons, and just because of the fact that the Circa, the guy who owns it, Derek Stevens,
Hmm.
you know, one man, right? He's the owner of the D and the Golden Nugget and the
Mm-hmm.
Circa,
Mm-hmm.
and one man, one human being owns the Golden Nugget along with several hundred restaurants. I mean, it's not a public company; it's one guy,
Mm.
Landry's Seafood, and several other
Mm.
names that
Mm.
they're a restaurant company. They have like a friendly competition going down there, right? There's
Mm.
competition, so the Golden Nugget is known for being the place to play poker. If I was Derek Stevens, just in the spirit of competition and offering that amenity to the hotel, I would have put a poker.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and to be honest, the Golden Nugget is great. The manager of the Golden Nugget poker room is a known name, Andy Rich. He's known in the poker world, and he runs a fantastic poker room.
Mm.
But competition never hurts.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
If the guy across the street opens a poker room, now Andy Rich is going to be even more on top of his game,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
right? And that's I was hoping for it, but you never know. Who knows what can
Of
happen?
course.
But I doubt it.
Even the prices at Circa might even drop at one point because it's an expensive hotel at the moment. I know it.
Oh, I bet.
I know they just opened, but it's still downtown, and it'll
Right, right.
probably drop at some point. I think.
Well, it's funny that we even talk about that I go there because I just said in my vlog the other day. Here's a question: if you could pick one casino downtown that would open a new poker room,
Ah,
what
yeah.
would it be?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And of course, a lot of people would say Circa, but I was actually thinking the Plaza,
Okay, okay.
just because it's such an old,
The Plaza
whatever.
is the.
Yeah.
I did something crazy when I was in Vegas. I played bingo. Is that
Oh,
was that on the was that in the Plaza?
probably,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
I don't know if anywhere else downtown has bingo, but that's something you'll find at the locals casinos like
I
Red
had
Rock and all those places. They have bingo.
I was sick for a few days on that trip because I slept with the air condition on.
Oh
So
yeah.
I had a sour throat and some fever and stuff, and I couldn't go anywhere. I was just sitting there, letting the computer playing bingo for me.
Right.
Okay. Oh, what about food, Tim? That's the last thing I wanted to ask you about. What I've heard, if we, of course, we have all these expensive restaurants and steakhouses, whatever.
Yeah.
But I watch your vlog, and especially if when you watch the poker crowds vlog, he often
Hmm.
goes to restaurants off the strip, right?
Okay.
Uh, Stuff like that. Ellis Island is mentioned
Okay. Yeah.
a lot for when it comes to value for money. What's your opinion about that?
Um, so that's something I was going to say earlier, actually. When you are at Caesar's Palace playing poker and you're earning $2 per hour,
Mm,
you can use those $2 per hour at Planet Hollywood or
mm,
at Bally's.
mm.
Um, there's a place called Earl of Sandwich.
Yeah,
It's a chain, but there's one at Caesars, and well, it's not even open at the moment, but there's one at Caesars and there's one at Planet Hollywood.
yeah,
The one at Caesars, every sandwich, pardon me, is $1 more expensive than Planet Hollywood, the exact same menu item.
yeah,
Okay, so the point I'm making is that you can play your poker there and then spend your comps across the street at a cheaper casino like Flamingo,
yeah, yeah,
right? And you could maybe save in a dollar or two or three there, whatever. You know what I mean? It's a walk, but whatever.
yeah.
As far as it's very interesting because there are places on the strip that are owned by the casino, and there are places on the strip that are not owned by the casino.
Uh-huh.
So the reason that Starbucks coffee is, if something is $3 a half a mile out my apartment,
Yeah,
it's $5 at the Starbucks inside Harris.
yeah.
The reason is because it's not even owned by Starbucks. It's a
Mm,
licensed store
mm.
owned by the casino.
Yeah,
So whatever their reason for charging more is, I think there are multiple reasons why they charge more. Literally multiple reasons why they charge so much more. But then there are some places on the strip that are not owned by a casino. So if you go inside MGM Grand, there's one inside the Luxor. There's this pizza place, and I can't think of the name of it right now. Maybe I will. But the pizza place that's inside MGM Grand in the food court, a slice of pizza, just a pepperoni slice, is
mm,
like $6 or $7. Sorry, I think I hit my mic. It's called Bananos, I think.
mm-hmm.
There used to be a Bananos outside Planet Hollywood. You know the big curved sign on the top
Yeah,
of Planet Hollywood?
yeah, yeah. I remember that.
Underneath that, there's a Taco Bell, there's a Subway. There used to be a Bananos. A slice of cheese pizza at that Bananos is $2.95.
Mm-hmm.
The reason is because that Bananos is not owned by MGM Grand and
Mm,
sitting inside their casino in their food
mm.
court. The exact
Yeah,
same pizza slice is
yeah,
half price.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So those are the things you got to look for. I could make a list. It would be difficult, but there's places in front of Bally's that are not owned by the casinos in the bazaar shops.
Yeah, yeah.
There's Dirt Dog. There's like a Mediterranean place where you get like I think gyro sandwiches. With the meat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Falafel
So
kebab something.
yeah,
Yeah.
kebab stuff
Yeah.
in you. So there's like a couple things there, and then Ellis Island, the one that you said, I would have to put at number one.
Mm,
If you can make your way off of the strip over to Paradise Road
mm,
to Ellis Island, their main restaurant in there is called Village Pub.
mm.
The food is outstanding, and it is dirt cheap
Yeah.
compared to the
Yeah.
strip.
Yeah.
And I recently found out, I didn't know this, but something you may not know about Vegas is that all over the entire valley, in every single little neighborhood, on every corner,
Mm,
there are these places that are very much like casinos, but they may only have video poker
mm-hmm.
or slot machines, and
Mm,
they have a bar and they have food.
mm,
There's a place called Village Pub. They're all around,
mm-hmm.
but that's who owns Ellis Island.
Ah,
So you can get that same food at all those places, and those
really?
places are known for having good value because they want the local people
Yeah.
don't go to the strip, come
Yeah.
to Village Pub. If you're
Of
gonna
course.
play, jacks or better or
Yeah.
double bonus poker,
Yeah.
you're going to want to go there. So
have you visited the Ellis Island? They opened a new sports cafe thing, outdoor something.
yeah, I haven't been out there.
Okay.
It seems connected to the Village Pub, but I don't know what way.
Okay.
But Ellis Island is like a brewery, and
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
place in there called Metro Pizza, fantastic pizza,
Mm.
and it's reasonable price. And then there's Metro Pizzas that are out in the neighborhood too that are really good.
Mhm.
It's the same company, right? So, and then downtown, it's easy to find food.
There's that. I forgot the name. There's that pizza place. You often
Pizza
go.
Rock.
Pizza Rock. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pizza Rock. And
Yeah.
then if you go East Fremont, there's a Thai restaurant called Le Thai, and there's a pizza place called Evil Pie. So when it comes to the Strip, it's difficult. The Strip is difficult. Finding cheap food on the Strip is difficult. And when you do find something cheap, it's probably not that good anyway. And the service on the Strip sucks. The food on the Strip is not worth what you pay for it. And you can go to In-N-Out Burger in the link. In-N-Out Burger is not my favorite burger, but it's not disgusting. It's okay.
Yeah.
People love it, and it's cheap as hell.
Tim, do you reckon that we actually talked 2 hours now?
Yeah, I know. I see that.
And I told you,
Lady Trooper stomping on the floor, which is the ceiling right here.
I understand.
I'm kidding.
I said to you that I would take 30, maybe 45 minutes of your time to do this, and now we spent 2 hours.
I'll bill you on PayPal.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Please do that. Please do that. It's called a donate button on the Twitch channel.
No. The other way.
I know that, and I was I was kidding you.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I'm only joking.
I just want to say thank you very much for joining us here today. It's been a pleasure, and if I come to
Different
Vegas,
than you thought, maybe. I'm sorry.
Say again.
Different than you thought, maybe.
No, I think sounds stupid, but I kind of think that I know you. You understand?
I understand that. Everybody thinks that, and I know people that I watch on YouTube too.
Exactly.
Right? So
exactly.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was asking about. Is it a little different than what you see on the YouTube videos? No. But I interrupted you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, you cannot interrupt me all you want. People are here to listen to you, not to me. Actually, I heard that the WSOP will be a thing in the fall.
Well, I've heard that rumored, and I don't know where you heard it.
Daniel Negreanu.
From a good source. Oh, well, I mean, you would think he knows something. He certainly thinks he does. I don't know. I'm sure he does know something. You know what I mean? I listen, more rake is better sounds bitterly stupid, but I way before Daniel Negreanu said it, I said it. It's on record in my blog somewhere where I said that, because at the time Caesars was $4 rake, MGM was, Bellagio, Aria were $4 rake, but then you could go to MGM Grand and pay $5 rake plus $2 for the promo, and I said it long before he did.
That was the best game.
Those games are better.
Those
games are better.
But what I actually wanted to say that if it will be a thing, and if the vaccines are whatever they have to do in every country, I might come to Vegas in the fall, but otherwise I will come to Vegas next year, and I would love to have a cup of that Go Gamble blend.
I'll have to figure out how to do that. Yeah. Actually, someone just sent me a half-gallon Yeti travel thing that supposedly will keep coffee hot for like 2 days. So maybe I'll work that out.
Tim, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, definitely. It was my pleasure. Yeah.
See you later.
All right.